She runs now. Now to fix a bunch of the other things. First, let's start with getting her up in the air. And look, she's celebrating 420. Let's get to pointing you to all of the things that have to happen. Let's go. Let me be blinded and let's take the first look under the car, because I haven't even done that yet. Let's see, what do we got? Stuff and things. More stuff. I know CV axles are kind of toast, or at least one of them is. This one might be fine, I don't know.
Shut your face.
Shut up! And then we have a lot of leakage. No! So we've got, okay, as I was saying, we've got leakage. We've got, seems pretty straightforward down here. We've got a catalytic converter that may not be around much longer. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm hoping it's not rust. If it is, well, that might skew. Oh no, I think it's just protectant. Okay. Or at least so I think. Okay, yeah, just protectant. Scary stuff. Oh yeah, somewhere around here is e-brake, and I do not appear to have e-brake. So I'm guessing I will have to dismantle some things here, because if you look, aside from all the spider webs, because you know, black widows, and we see some blacked out filter stuff here. So yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But anyway, we got e-brake, but it doesn't appear to actually be attached to anything on the other side. As you can tell, it's kind of loosey-goosey here. So that might be something else I have to address. I don't know. And hey, overall though, everything underneath, while spiderweb infested, seems fine. I mean, I haven't checked bearings, but at least on quick inspection. Oh, and while we're at it, this thing has like a gallon or two in it. It needs to come out because it's what caused that filter. Just yeah, it caused it. So we're gonna clean it. So yeah. Anyway, there's the inspection. All seems hunky-dory. So I'm gonna start working on shit. First thing, oil change. Hooray! Let's go look at that stuff. Before we dive in to the actual work, here's what's on the list. Brakes, brake lights, they stay on. I'm guessing it's a switch, but we'll find out. The column headlight switch, because it's just kind of stuck, broken. E-brake doesn't work. CV axles are toast. Trans fluid, which is apparently 10W40. And the leak. Tires, oil, which I'm about to do, gas tank, and battery tie down. That theoretically should be enough to drive it and be comfortable with it. And the oil of choice for me, synthetic blend, high mileage, Valvoline, Max Life, whatever. And apparently an STP S2 filter, just didn't want to use Fram. So let me knock that out. And master cylinder, for, I'm guessing I'll need to replace that, is a reasonable enough price just to go with it, because I don't know the shape of that thing. Yeah, let me get some shit done. Man, I love it when an oil change goes perfectly smooth, everything's clean, no messes are made, everything goes as expected. Next up, we have the brake master cylinder. I have already drained it onto kitty litter. There wasn't much fluid in it. I also sprayed both of the screws or whatever, the nuts, sprayed them both with Deep Creep just to make sure they'd loosen up. Because last thing you want to do is round them off. They were 10s using a tool that, oh, okay. I think they're called a flare nut wrench or whatever, but has that type of end. The reason I'm replacing it, aside from the fact that the brakes did nothing, is we'll see if we can mimic it here. See if you can hear the noise. Well, squirting a little, but you'd hear a, like more or less, it wasn't keeping its pressure or whatever, which from what I understand, commonly happens when the rubber inside there fails or something in that realm. So we got a brand shiny new one, CarQuest off Rock Auto, E100841. So yeah, we're going to replace that next so we can move another item off that list. The booster, as you heard, there was noise. And then I had fiddled around with the rod that pushes out, and a lot of air is escaping by there, which I'm thinking is wrong, but since I'm here, I've ordered a new booster. Because, I mean, it's making noises I don't think it should be, with it just being all open. So I guess brakes, get to wait. The column headlight switch, though, I feel like looking at that and looking at the e-brake should be next on my list. Let's see what happens. Quick little update of where we're at. No steering wheel. The reason for that, if I can make this not shake, is there's no, like, I had to turn it off, I had to like pry. So this thing's rough. I'm gonna take it apart, or I know previous owner had another one in there. I just can't remember if it looked broken or not. But had to remove the steering wheel to be able to get this off. And yeah, also makes it a little easier to climb under there. Also, I said e-brake earlier. Internally or inside the car, that part's fine. I took it apart. 2 screws back there, 2 screws under the boot there, comes off. It's fine. Looks like the wires may be getting kind of jacked up under the gas tank, so that'll be later. Anyway, yeah, that's where we're at. Hooray. So here we are, removing brake servo or brake booster. Bolt here. Bolt there. Bolt there, and one by a spring back here, I think you can see. And this, if I can, let's get a better angle, and let's see if I can find my finger. Right there. That was connected with that little bolt type thing and a cotter pin. Anyway, let's get back to some other stuff. Here we are. Column headlight switch. I can actually check that off. That turned out to be, I mean, I took this all apart for not a lot of good reason. Started fiddling with this. Beforehand, it was just stuck. Then I ended up fiddling with it more. I figured it was broken because there's another one in the back. But then, fiddle, click, click. I hooked the battery up, it worked, so took a soapy rag, wiped it down real quick. Still looks like crap, but hope to get a little bit of water in there because I disconnected the battery, soapy water, moved it a little to help clean out what I'm guessing is some gunk in there. So yeah, you're right. Disconnected, And upon evaluation, oh yeah, that's just coloring, or that's just lighting. So that's done. My brake lights stay on. Turns out there's a little rubber stopper on the brake pedal that pushes against the switch. That's missing. I have one on order. So, you great? Hey look, no more brake servo. There's yellow stuff on the brake lines. I don't know what it is, but whatever. Here's the old servo. And you can see a lot of rust, paint removal. I'm guessing it had some leaks before. Things just kind of went south. So, brakes, waiting on parts. Brake lights, waiting on parts. E-brake, yeah, I have to remove the gas tank anyway. So that might be next. CV axle, waiting on parts. That, I'm just waiting. So I think the next thing up is gas tank and e-brake, since they're kind of working together now. So let's get going. Just so I can provide some info in case people don't have it. Here is the hatchback and sedan. Little diagram for the fuel tank. A few bolts, drain plug. Let's see if I can steady this a little. Anyway, zoom in, whatever. And here's for the wagon. Just for if anyone stumbles across this and actually needs it. But may I recommend, you get a nice manual. The car came with it. Service manual, 83 Honda Civic. It's seen better days. Anyway, let me go remove that gas tank. Cover what I did real quick. Gas tank out, critters and junk up there. I'll clean that up. Oh, I think I just found the e-brake problem. Anyway, so surprising. Sway bar bushings all the way across are in fairly good shape. The exhaust I had to undo to be able to, well, you don't see it over there, but the heat shield. Had to remove the heat shield and be able to move the exhaust out of the way to get the last bolt out of the gas tank. Heat shield bolts, fine. The exhaust bolts look rusted. No, they were fine. They came out no problem. All the exhaust hangers, let's see, fine. So aside from sitting, this thing seems like it was remotely taken care of. So I am puzzled as its shape just seems weird, because things like this brake is kind of stuck. Gas tank was ugly and gunked up. But I don't know, it just seems weird. Anyway, I'm gonna go through, get rid of all these like webs, gunk, and then also figure out how I'm going to clean out the inside of the gas tank. So yeah, be back. She is now hose off, level clean. You know, a little bit of chemical, a little bit of spray, a little bit of spray and chemical up in the tank, swish around. So yeah, that's done for now. Gonna have to let it dry for a while. Then I'm gonna have to find that drain plug. It's somewhere here. But let's see if you can get a look. I don't know if you saw it from the time lapse, but there's a lot of crap here. But I think I found the e-brake problem. There's like one strand holding it. And I'm guessing this would have to be super tensioned. But I'm here. Let me see if I can go buy a replacement cable. And I'm really hoping I don't have to remove more exhaust. Although to be fair, the other exhaust bolts came off surprisingly well. So, let's get back to work. As you saw, I just put this back on. Before I took everything off, this would not turn. Now, so it's not the drums. The drums look great. The shoes in it also look fine. So I'm going to get a new cotter pin that broke, clean off the parts, get some more lube, and put it back together, see if it assembles fine. Maybe the bolt on it seemed to not be very tight, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna put it back together, see if it's all hunky-dory, and we will go from there. So, decided this is a good point to stop the video. Let's do a quick review of everything I took apart, mostly because we're waiting on parts. Let's start with the rear. As you saw, I took this apart because it was kind of like stuck. And the bolt came off rather easily underneath. But anyway, bearings look good, brakes weren't pressed against anything. I was like, what the hell? Then I lightly put it on and hey, look, it turns. So we're leaving the brakes alone. Well, okay, we're partially. I know these the brake lines. Let's get it and see. Well, let's zoom in on that. There's little surface cracks. It might be fine in the long run, but they weren't expensive. Took off the one on that side. That's what this is waiting for. I also ordered the e-brake cable that goes from the middle to the front. And then a little bit of what you saw. CV axles out. I disconnected the front part on the other side, but I left the rear in just cuz. Had to undo this, remove the brakes. Also, I was removing the brakes because while you're here and it's old, not a lot of meat left. So yeah, I also got a new rotor coming. Just, again, a lot of these parts aren't too expensive. So did that. I'm reusing this, but I'm cleaning up. There's so much shit on here, so I'm probably gonna wipe things down later. This is my first time doing a Honda suspension. So yeah, there's that. Same thing over here. So pretty much we're waiting on brake pads, brake lines, rotors, brake servo, brake master, and I think that's it. There might be other little tidbits, but got things coming. Have to wait. So we're leaving it at that. too easy to go down the rabbit hole of while we're here. So I'm keeping it simple. It could need suspension later. Could need calipers, wheel cylinders, things like that. The brakes seemed fine in the rear. You never know, but you gotta cut it somewhere on, oh well, just a little more. So, dismantling video. Next one will be hopefully reassembling. But thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.